The evening breeze is cool against my skin as I pull into the driveway earlier than expected. It's a surprise visit home, meant to be a sweet end to a tedious business trip. As I kill the engine, the faint thump of music from inside the house drifts out to greet me. It's odd. Marcus usually prefers his evenings quiet after a long day at the office. Stepping out of the car, I let the familiar sounds of home wash over me, the undercurrent of laughter weaving through the music. Laughter that doesn't belong to my husband. My heart skips, then steadies. It's probably just the TV, I tell myself as I fish for the keys in my bag. The front door is slightly ajar, which strikes a discordant note in my usually security-conscious mind. Marcus? I call out, pushing the door open. No answer. The laughter grows louder, accompanied by a distinctly feminine giggle that I know isn't mine. My pulse quickens. The foyer feels like it's closing in on me as I move silently towards the sounds, my heels clicking ominously against the tile. I pause at the entrance to the living room. The sight before me drains the warmth from my body. There, sprawled on my own couch, is Marcus, his arms around a woman whose head is thrown back in laughter, her bright red lipstick, a stark contrast to her pale skin. They haven't seen me yet. Time slows down. I retreat quietly, the world tilting as I struggle to process the betrayal. The laughter now sounds mocking, taunting. Fury builds inside me, a fiery, uncontrollable blaze. Without thinking, I storm out to the driveway, eyes fixed on the sleek, unfamiliar car parked beside mine. Marcus's new sports car is nowhere to be seen. This must be his companion's vehicle. Grabbing the baseball bat we keep for security from the garage, I approach the car. The music is pulsing through the open windows, a beat to match the pounding of my heart. The first swing at the headlights feels good, too good. Glass shatters, scattering reflections of my rage. I strike again, denting the hood, the sound of metal crumpling like a sweet release. I'm dimly aware of shouts from the house, the music abruptly cut off. But I can't stop. Not yet. Hey, what the hell are you doing? Marcus's voice, laced with disbelief and fear, finally breaks through my frenzy. I whirl around, bat still in hand, breathing hard. He stands in the doorway, the woman peeking out behind him, her eyes wide with shock. Sarah, Save it, I hiss, the bat dropping to my side with a thud. My eyes are locked on his, and I can see the moment he realizes that this isn't just going to go away with apologies. The distant wail of sirens grows louder and reality snaps back into focus. What have I done? I glance at the bat, then at the car, my rage now mingled with dread. This is far from over, and the consequences of my actions loom over me like storm clouds. As the police cars pull up, I wonder how far the fallout from this evening will spread. Marcus takes a step toward me, his expression unreadable. Sarah, please? But I don't want to hear it. Not now. I turn away, the weight of my choices settling around me like a cloak. Whatever comes next, one thing is clear, my life will never be the same again. The bright, harsh lights of the police station flicker above me, casting stark shadows on the walls. The chill of the interrogation room seeps through my clothing, making me shiver. It's just me, a hard metal chair, and a table that's seen better days. Outside, the low murmur of the precinct buzzes, a sharp contrast to the suffocating silence in here. The door opens with a creak, and a police officer walks in. She's a stern-looking woman with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense ponytail. Mrs. Carter, she starts, her voice firm. I'm Officer Reynolds. I'll be handling your case. Can you explain what happened tonight? I recount the events, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside. As I speak, another officer peers through the one-way mirror, a silent observer to my confession. And you damaged the vehicle because... Officer Reynolds prompts, pen poised over her notepad. Because I was angry, I admit, my hands clenching in my lap. I saw them together and something snapped. She nods, jotting down notes. We've also brought in your husband and the woman for questioning. Do you know her? I shake my head. No, I've never seen her before tonight. The officer eyes me, perhaps trying to gauge my honesty or maybe just assessing how much of a threat I am. We'll need you to stay in town while we sort this out, and no contact with your husband or the other party involved. Understand? I nod, feeling like a child being scolded. Yes, officer. As she leaves, another figure steps into the room, my sister Laura. Her expression is a mix of worry and anger. Sarah, what were you thinking? Smashing his car? I don't know, Laura, I murmur, feeling the weight of her disappointment. It just happened. I lost control. She sighs and sits beside me, her warmth a small comfort. Well, we need a lawyer. I call David, he's on his way. David, an old family friend and a sharp attorney, arrives within the hour. His presence fills the small room, and his quick smile does little to mask the seriousness of his eyes. Sarah, let's get you out of here first. Then we'll talk strategy. The next few hours are a blur of paperwork and whispered conversations. David manages to arrange for my release on bail. And as I step out into the cool night air, the reality of my situation settles in. My marriage, my sanity, and now my legal standing, all in jeopardy. As Laura drives me home, her phone buzzes relentlessly. She ignores it until a text catches her eye. It's Marcus, she says, her tone cautious. He wants to talk. Says it's important. Important? I scoff, staring out the window. The city lights blur past, each one a reminder of how quickly life can change. Laura parks the car in our driveway, her hand resting on the ignition. What do you want to do? I'm silent for a moment, the weight of the night heavy on my shoulders. Finally, I exhale slowly. Tell them I'll meet him. But not tonight. I need some time to think. All right, she nods, understanding my need for space. As we walk inside, the house feels different, empty, even though it's filled with all the same things. I head straight to the bedroom, not even bothering to turn on the lights. Lying in the dark, I realize this is just the beginning. Whatever Marcus wants to say, whatever his reasons are, the path forward is murky, and somewhere deep down, I know that the unimaginable is yet to come. The morning light filters through the blinds, casting long stripes across the room. I haven't slept. Every time I close my eyes, the image of Marcus and her flashes before me. The sound of shattering glass echoes in my ears, a stark reminder of last night's wreckage. My phone buzzes, jolting me from my reverie. It's Laura, her message brief. Meeting set. Noon at the corner cafe, he's expecting you. I sit up, nerves tingling. It's time to face Marcus, but I'm not sure I'm ready to hear what he has to say. At the corner cafe, I choose a table in the back, away from curious eyes. The waitress brings a coffee, her smile sympathetic, as if she knows the gravity of the conversation about to take place. I stir the coffee absent-mindedly, the clink of the spoon against the mud too loud in the quiet morning. Marcus arrives on time. He looks tired, the usual crispness of his suit absent. He takes a seat opposite me, his eyes searching mine for something, forgiveness, perhaps, or just a sign of the woman he used to know. Sarah, he begins, his voice low. I'm sorry you have to find out this way. I cut him off, the bitterness sharp in my tone. Who is she, Marcus? And how long has this been going on? He sighs, running a hand through his hair. Her name is Amelia. It hasn't been long. Does it matter how long? I snap. The cafe around us fades, the hum of other conversations dull compared to the racing of my heart. I know it doesn't, he concedes. It was wrong. I don't have any excuses. You're right, you don't. My hands tremble slightly, but my voice is steady. What do you want now, Marcus? Why ask to meet? He looks at me, the familiarity of his gaze now foreign. I want to make things right, Sarah. I want to try, feel less. I love you. The words sting, a cruel reminder of what I thought we had. I shake my head, the decision heavy on my shoulders. I need time, Marcus. Time to think about what I want. This isn't just something we can fix with a conversation. Marcus nods, his expression somber. I understand. Take all the time you need. I'll wait. He stands, pausing as if he wants to say more, but instead he turns and walks away, leaving me with my swirling thoughts and a cold cup of coffee. As I drive home, my phone rings. It's David, his tone urgent. Sarah, you need to come to my office. There's something about the case, the car you smashed. It's more complicated than we thought. Alarm bells ring in my head. What's going on, David? It's better if we talk in person. I'm pulling in some favors to get more information, but you should be here. Arriving at David's office, the usual calm has been replaced by a flurry of activity. David ushers me into his office, closing the door firmly behind us. Okay, what's happening? I ask, the fear barely contained. First, you're not in trouble for the car. That's covered. But it turns out the car you smashed. It's registered to a name that came up in a very sensitive investigation. Amelia is not just some affair, Sarah. She's involved in something much bigger, something dangerous. I sink into the chair, the room spinning. What kind of investigation? David leans forward, his eyes serious. I can't say much, but it involves some high-level criminal activities. I think you stumbled onto something that night, and it's why you need to be very careful about your next steps. The revelation shocks me to my core. My personal crisis suddenly feels entangled with something much darker and deeper than a simple affair. What do I do, David? For now, keep a low profile. I'll look into it and figure out our best course of action. Just be careful, Sarah. Leaving his office, the weight of the morning's revelations sits heavy on my shoulders. Marcus' betrayal now seems part of a larger, more dangerous puzzle, and I am in the middle of it, whether I like it or not. The sun sets with a fiery glow, casting long shadows across the city as I drive. My mind races with the revelations David shared. Marcus' affair wasn't just a betrayal. It was a doorway into a hidden world of danger I never imagined touching our lives. As I pull into the driveway, I notice an unfamiliar car parked across the street. Its presence sends a shiver down my spine. I take a deep breath, trying to steady my nerves. It's now clear that every step I take needs to be calculated. Inside the house, I go straight to my home office. The desk is cluttered with papers, among them, photos of Marcus and Amelia, a reminder of the deception. I start sifting through Marcus' things, searching for any clue that might shed light on his connection to Amelia's dangerous world. As I dig through a drawer, I find a small locked box. My heart pounds as I remember the key Marcus keeps in his study, a tiny silver one, almost decorative. Retrieving it feels like stepping through a forbidden door. When the box clicks open, inside, I find stacks of cryptic notes and a burner phone. My hands tremble as I power it on. Text messages fill the screen, conversations between Marcus and unknown contacts, discussing transactions and meetings. It's like looking at a stranger's life. Among the texts, one name stands out, repeated several times. Amelia. Not just a fling, but a partner in crime, literally. A sudden noise startles me, and I whirl around to see Laura standing at the door, her face pale. Sarah, you need to see this, she says, holding up her phone. The screen shows a news alert. Local businessman arrested in connection with criminal syndicate. Below it, Marcus's photo. The ground seems to shift beneath me. They arrested him? Laura nods, her voice tense. Just now. They've been investigating him for months. It seems Amelia was their informant. She was working with the police. The pieces click into place, a mosaic of betrayal and undercover dealings. Marcus' involvement in crime, Amelia's role as an informant, and my unwitting destruction of what might have been crucial evidence. My actions could have endangered an entire police operation. I had no idea, I stammer, sinking into the chair. Laura sits beside me, her hand squeezing mine. No one did, Sarah. You couldn't have known. The phone in the box buzzes, and a message lights up the screen. It's from Amelia. Stay safe. The truth will come out. I'm sorry you got caught in the middle. The doorbell rings, slicing through the heavy silence. I stand, steadying myself before heading to the door. 2 police officers wait outside, their expressions grim. Mrs. Carter? One of them asks. Yes, I reply, my voice steady despite the chaos inside me. We need to ask you some questions about your husband and his activities. The officer continues. I nod, understanding the gravity of the situation. Of course, officers. I'll help in any way I can. As they step inside, I glance back at Laura, her supportive presence a small comfort. The road ahead will be difficult. Unraveling the full extent of Marcus' crimes, dealing with the fallout of my own actions, and rebuilding my life will take time. But as I follow the officers to the living room, a resolve strengthens within me. The truth is out, and with it, a chance to start anew. The intrigue and shadows that fill my life are giving way to a clearer, albeit challenging path. As the interrogation begins, I'm ready. Ready to face whatever comes, armed with the truth and a newfound strength from the ordeal. My life as I knew it is over, but maybe, just maybe, what comes next could be something better.